Life can get hectic when you start a family, but Which can help you make confident decisions from improving your home to financial planning. We'll make sure you're prepared. Whether you're looking to reduce your household bills, seeking advice around your child's health, or want to find our best buys for your new home, Which has got you covered. Use our expert advice to make the right choices for you and your growing family by visiting which.co.uk/growing family. That's where you'll find everything you need to make confident decisions and have peace of mind that all the advice you're getting is 100% independent. So to find out more, just head to which.co.uk/growing family. Hello and welcome to the Which Short Podcast. I'm James Rowe. This is the podcast that brings you the very best from Which with a weekly taste of some of the brilliant journalism you can expect from your suite of magazines. This week, we're looking at what happens to your digital assets once you're gone. In the September edition of Which magazine, Andy Loughlin looked at Which research that suggested that the majority of us have no plans for our digital lives after we pass away. He explains what we can do to prepare and which tech companies are more helpful than others. Here's his piece, adapted for the podcast, read by Andy himself.
When we think of what we'll leave behind for our loved ones, it's often what we'll physically pass on. This painting goes to my son, the nice china to my daughter, the air fryer should be buried with me. However, we rarely do the same for our data. 3/4 of the near 15,000 Which members we surveyed in April 2024 had no plan for what they were going to do with their digital assets after they'd passed away. That includes photos, emails and online accounts. Just 18% had recorded how to access their accounts for someone to follow, and only 3% had included provisions in their will. There are set rules for how online banking services are handled after death. However, for every other aspect of our digital lives, from the photos we store in the cloud to the social media accounts we use to document our lives, it's much more complex. Not having a clear digital legacy plan leaves your loved ones with a tangled web of digital accounts and assets to unpick. Email services can be hard to access, social media profiles tricky to memorialise, and precious photos left locked forever behind a tech giant's legal firewall. Some 6% of respondents in our survey had to access a loved one's digital assets in the past 3 years, with the most common being email, followed by photos and Facebook. Respondents complained about frequent issues with accessing accounts, transferring files and dealing with unhelpful customer services. You have no overarching right to access someone's data after death. Data protection rights cease when you die, and digital assets don't get passed on automatically to a next of kin. Instead, you must navigate a complex and often unhelpful landscape of company policies to understand what you can and can't access or pass on. To make things easier, it's best to secure your digital legacy in 3 ways. First, with cloud storage. Most cloud storage services, such as OneDrive, enable you to create a shared document and then securely share this with other people. You can include instructions here and keep them updated. Also consider including your smartphone PIN codes just in case. Password managers such as LastPass and Dashlane are also useful for securely sharing passwords with others. Away from the cloud, storing things locally is also an option. If data isn't stored in 2 places, it's after all not reliably stored. It's easy to back up important photos and other files and to include your digital legacy plan when you have one on a USB stick or physical hard drive, and you could drop off a duplicate of this with a loved one straight away. Most can be password protected, so you can share how to access in your cloud service note or, as we'll explain shortly, in a letter of wishes. Just make sure that a stored digital legacy plan is updated regularly with the latest details, such as if you change a password or get a new phone. You could also establish a letter of wishes. It's best not to include specific digital assets or services in your will. Alongside ownership issues, digital assets can also often change, so you wouldn't want the expense of frequently updating your will. Instead, it's often advised to include a letter of wishes. This is a separate document that accompanies the will. It isn't legally binding, but it can explain what you want to happen with your digital accounts and data and provide more information to your executors and family. You can find out more at which.co.uk/digital estate, and the link will also be in the show notes. You'll also probably have to deal with some of the biggest digital firms, including Apple, Amazon and Meta, when dealing with a loved one's data. However, some are much more helpful than others. Let's start with Apple. iPhones, iPads and Mac computers have strong protections for security and privacy. So if you don't have an Apple ID login, generally that expensive Apple product and all the photos, media and apps on it will be impenetrable. It's best to include an Apple ID securely in your digital legacy plan, but you can also add a legacy contact to your Apple ID. This gives someone trusted access to your Apple device and all the data you've got stored on it. Although that doesn't include purchased digital media or stored passwords in your keychain. On your iPhone or iPad, go to Settings, then tap your name. Choose Sign In and Security and then Legacy Contact. Then follow the instructions. On Mac, choose the Apple menu and System Settings and then click Apple ID. There you can choose Sign In and Security and Legacy Contact. Google has what's called an Inactive Account Manager tool for its various services, including Gmail and Google Drive, YouTube and more. This informs Google who you want to access your account after you pass away and whether you want the account to be deleted in a certain period of time. Setting this up should make it easier to manage for your loved ones. Head to Inactive Account Manager page, click Start and then follow the instructions. Considering that it could cover your shopping account, stored photos, Kindle ebooks and other content, Amazon's digital legacy policy is pretty limited. If someone has securely shared their Amazon email account and password with you, you can sign into their account. You also need to access any additional verification that is set up, such as a smartphone that receives a code by text. If the login details are not passed on, someone will need to supply Amazon with a death certificate as well as an official document showing they are authorized to access your account, as well as photo ID. Amazon doesn't offer any digital legacy program beyond that, so it's essential that you make plans to share account access before it's too late. Once an Amazon account is closed, all photos, music and ebooks are deleted. If you want someone to access your Microsoft account, including Hotmail and OneDrive, make sure you arrange it before you pass on. Microsoft requires a court order to release account information, and even then it doesn't guarantee giving access, so it's best to make arrangements before that is required. Microsoft also owns LinkedIn, and the same rules apply there in order to become an authorized person to close down an account. You can report someone as deceased without this, and LinkedIn will memorialize the profile. Sharing of account details is prohibited under the T's and C's. For Facebook, you can designate someone as a legacy contact on your account after it's been memorialized. This person can manage the account, write a pinned post to the profile, respond to new friend requests, and change the profile and cover photo. They can also permanently delete the profile. Legacy contacts can't log into the full account, download photos, remove or edit posts, read messages or delete friends. So without the full login details, access is limited. On Instagram, it's even trickier. You'll need both the birth and death certificate for the deceased person and proof that you are their lawful representative in order to remove the account. Without that, you can only request that the account be memorialized as long as you provide proof of their death, such as death certificate or obituary in the local newspaper. So can a will include any of your digital assets? If provisions are put in place, some digital files and assets can form part of your estate upon death and pass to your beneficiaries. That usually includes photos and original works, along with vouchers and loyalty card points depending on the policy of the company. Other items such as ebooks and music files and social media accounts cannot typically be passed on. This is because they aren't usually assets that you actually own. Instead, you license access from the companies. More and more of our lives are being lived online, but little thought has been given to our digital legacies. Should we have rights over our data even after death? Should there be a type of power of attorney over data that we can bestow on others, in the same way we do with our financial or medical access? As digital first generations age and pass away, these issues are going to get more pressing. So maybe it's not just us who should be thinking about digital legacy, but our lawmakers too.
Andy Loughlin was reading his own piece, originally published in the September edition of Which magazine. To read it in full, then be sure to become a Which member. I'll pop a link in the show notes for you to find out more. We'll be back next week for another episode of Which Shorts, but in the meantime, don't forget to check out Which Money Shorts on the Which Money podcast feed. Every fortnight we give you a taster of the Which Money magazine, just like we do here on Shorts with the travel, gardening, tech and regular Which mags. Just search Which Money wherever you're listening. Which Short was produced and edited by me, James Rowe, while the exec producer was Grace Farrell.
Hi, Lucia here from the Which Money Podcast. Join us each week as we bring you the best experts and top advice to help you make the most of your money. From property prices to budgeting, investment platforms to pensions, we'll be here to keep you informed. Not only that, but we've just launched Money Shorts. These are brand new fortnightly episodes that will give you a taster of the Which Money magazine that is delivered to members every other month. So to hear the main podcast and our brand new Money Shorts episodes, just search for Which Money wherever you get your podcasts.